Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today I'm going to be doing my game-by-game Houston Texans 2023 predictions. We're going to be predicting the Houston Texans record for the 2023 season game by game. I'm so excited for the Houston Texans to start on Sunday, September 10th. It is Tuesday, September 5th, and we are 5 days away from the Houston Texans season opener against the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore at 12 o'clock on CBS. It's going to be a fun season for the Houston Texans with rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud and rookie defensive end Will Anderson Jr. and rookie head coach D'Amico Ryans. I'm so excited to see what this team does and excited to see what they do on Sunday. Let's go over my predictions for this Houston Texans team in 2023 game by game. Starting with the Baltimore Ravens, I'm sad Texans fans, I have to give us a loss week one. It's going to be a tough challenge. I think the run defense will be better, but the run defense will definitely be better. That's how I feel. But to face off Lamar Jackson and J.K. Dobbins in the first week, and also Lamar Jackson with a decent pass offense as well, with Odell Beckham Jr., Zay Flowers, and Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews. Lamar Jackson's a great quarterback. He's a great running quarterback. He's a great passing quarterback who has had his offense upgraded. Have a great kicker in Justin Tucker and a really good defense that Baltimore has will be a tough challenge for rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans. I ultimately think the Houston Texans keep this game close in the first half and most of the third quarter, and the Houston Texans don't lose this game by too much. I have the Texans losing this one 27-20. I think C.J. Stroud throws for a touchdown pass. Don't really know who catches that touchdown pass, but I think C.J. Stroud throws his first touchdown pass, and I think he throws for over 200 passing yards. And I think Dameon Pierce has a rushing touchdown for the other Texans touchdown. And Ka'imi Fairbairn kicks in 2 field goals. And the Texans do have one takeaway over this Baltimore offense. And Will Anderson gets his first career sack. But the Houston Texans lose 27-20 against the Baltimore Ravens. But then week 2, I have the Houston Texans getting their first win of the season, beating the Indianapolis Colts at home. This will be a home game for the Texans, and C.J. Stroud will have his best game so far. Will be better than week 1. I think this will be one of the best games you will see from C.J. Stroud throughout his rookie year, facing a not-so-great Colts defense. And I think C.J. Stroud throws for 2 touchdown passes with over 250 passing yards. And you see a great run game by Dameon Pierce. And I think this is the game where Tank Dell shows some good things for the Houston Texans offense. I think Dalton Schultz gets a touchdown in this game. I don't know who the other touchdown pass is to from C.J. Stroud. And the Houston Texans and D'Amico Ryans get their first win of 2023 against the Colts with a game-winning field goal for Ka'imi Fairbairn, 27-24. Then on the road against the Jacksonville Jaguars on the 24th in week 3. I don't really have a score prediction for this game, but I think this will be a closer game. This game's in Jacksonville. I do have Jacksonville and Houston splitting their games this season, but I do not think the Houston Texans will win in Jacksonville. I think this will be C.J. Stroud's waking up call in the NFL. Call me crazy, but I don't have C.J. Stroud throwing an interception in his first 2 games in the NFL. I don't think C.J. Stroud will throw an interception against Baltimore, and I don't think he'll throw an interception against the Colts. I think this is the game where you see some picks thrown by C.J. Stroud. I think C.J. Stroud throws 2 interceptions in this ball game against the Jaguars. I think he throws for a touchdown pass as well, but I think C.J. Stroud throws 2 picks in this game, maybe 3. This will be C.J. Stroud's waking up call in the NFL. I think the Texans lose this game pretty badly. I'm going to go with the score of 35-20 for the Houston Texans losing this ball game. But I'm not really sure on that score. And then I have the Houston Texans losing back-to-back games very badly against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think this is going to be a game where C.J. Stroud continues to struggle for the Houston Texans. This great Steelers defense that Stroud would be facing. I think Stroud throws a pick or 2 against this Steelers defense and struggles. I think this offense struggles against Pittsburgh's defense. I think the Texans only put up 13 points of offense, while the Steelers put up 30 points of offense and the Texans lose 30-13 against Pittsburgh. This will be a special game for the Houston Texans, though, as this will be the game that J.J. Watt gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. But I think T.J. Watt, his brother, will definitely show that he has a chance to make it into the Hall of Fame for his team as well one day. I think T.J. Watt will have himself a day against the Houston Texans, and the Texans start off 1-3. From here, I don't really have score predictions. I really just had score predictions for the first 4 games, to be honest. But I do have predictions. So far, the Texans are 1-3 throughout the first 4 weeks of the season. It has been a tough start to the season. But, I mean, look at the first 4 games. The Ravens, the Jaguars, and the Steelers. Those are 3 teams also the Colts, but that one I have being a win. But your first 3 losses are 3 teams in the AFC who will most likely all be playoff teams. I think the Jaguars and the Ravens will both definitely be playoff teams. The Steelers are a possible playoff team in the AFC and most likely will. So it's a tough challenge in these first 4 weeks, especially with a rookie quarterback and a rookie head coach. But then the next week, week 5, of the Houston Texans bouncing back and snapping that 2-game losing streak against the Atlanta Falcons. I think this is the test game for this run defense facing off against running back Bijan Robinson. And as a Texas Longhorns fan, I'm so excited to watch this game in week 5 to see Bijan against my favorite team in the NFL. I like the Falcons just because they have Bijan. It was a pleasure to watch him at Texas as a Longhorns fan, but I do hope the Texans' run defense and Will Anderson Jr. have a day against Bijan and are able to stop this rookie master class of Bijan Robinson. I think the Houston Texans win. I don't know what type of day it is for C.J. Stroud going up against his solid defense. But I think Stroud has a solid day, and I think mainly the strong case in this game for the Houston Texans will be the defense. I think the Houston Texans defense will have their best game so far throughout the first 4 weeks of the season against the Atlanta Falcons, and the Texans get their second win of the season, and they are 2-3. But then back home, and for the first time in 2 weeks, week 6, I have the Houston Texans taking a loss to the New Orleans Saints. This is the second. The funny thing about the Texans' schedule is they play all NFC South teams in a row. They play the Falcons, Saints, Panthers, and Bucks, 4 matchups in a row. And I think the Falcons, that's a win. I think that's the Saints, that's a loss. And then for the Panthers in Carolina, and then at home against the Bucks. The Saints, I think that could be a close game. That could be a potential win for the Texans, but I think they lose that game. You're 2-4. Then at Carolina, this is after the bye week. So the Saints, that's week 6. Then you have week 7. Week 7's the bye. Week 8, you face off against the Carolina Panthers. This game's in Carolina. I think C.J. Stroud shows out for the Houston Texans and shows Carolina what they missed out when they picked Bryce Young in the first round. I think Bryce Young has a solid day and shows the Texans what they missed out on as well. But I think C.J. Stroud is the better quarterback in this game. I'm not saying he's the better quarterback in general, but I think C.J. Stroud will be the better quarterback in this game, and the Houston Texans get a road win, the first road win of 2023. Not the first road win because I have them winning in Atlanta. But I think this would be the first meaningful win of the season. I mean, the Colts and Falcons, I think those are 2 games right there that you're supposed to win. This is a game right here that would be a great win for the Houston Texans and show that this team might not be the best team out there, but definitely are underrated. And then I have the Houston Texans winning 2 games in a row against 2 NFC South teams against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home. Would be the first home win in almost 2 months, and after losing the last 2 home games against the Steelers and the Saints, and I have the Houston Texans beating the Buccaneers. I think this will be a great game by C.J. Stroud. I think the Houston Texans will have a huge win here. I'm talking about like a big win, like a double-digit score win for the Houston Texans, which in the other games, I think you're going to beat Carolina. It's going to be a close-scoring game. If you're going to beat Atlanta, it might not be very close, but it's not going to be a crushing defeat. And if you beat Indianapolis, I have them winning by 3 against Indianapolis. So I really think that this will be the biggest win so far this season, and you're 4-4. But then you're going to take a big loss against Cincinnati in Cincinnati. Cincinnati's a way better team, and Houston Texans will probably get crushed in this game, and you will go to 4-5. But then I said that the home game on the 5th and during during Week 9 would be, the biggest win so far this season. Well, how about this Week 11 matchup with the Arizona Cardinals? The Texans will win this game by 20 points plus. C.J. Stroud will throw for 3 or 4 touchdown passes, and the Houston Texans team will dominate the worst defense in the NFL. Houston Texans will get 2 or 3 takeovers, and the Houston Texans will score the most points they've scored all season, as I think the Houston Texans will score over 33 points in this ballgame, and the Houston Texans will score the most points they've scored all season, getting a win against the Cardinals to get back at 500, winning that game, and you are at 5-5. Like I said, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Texans splitting their games. The Texans haven't been swept by the Jaguars in forever, and this game is Week 12, and I have the Houston Texans beating the Jacksonville Jaguars and going to a record of 6-5. And then I have the Houston Texans getting a third straight win, beating the Denver Broncos. This game's at 3:05. And this game is Week 13. I have the Houston Texans beating the Denver Broncos. Now you're 7-5. These will be two good defenses matching up against each other, but I think the Texans take the edge over the Broncos. Then the Jets in New York. I think that's a loss against New York. And then at Tennessee as well, I think that's another loss. So now you've dropped 2 in a row, and I think you dropped the third in a row against the Cleveland Browns. So you won 3 in a row, but then you lost 3 in a row. You lost to the Jets, the Titans, and the Browns, and now you're a total of 7-8. But I think the Houston Texans finish out the season with 2 wins against the Tennessee Titans at home. This will be a game where the Houston Texans will go out there trying to prove something, as the Tennessee Titans will come into their home territory, disrespecting them, wearing Oiler uniforms. I'm gonna buy tickets to this game. I'm gonna boo the crap out of the Titans because I think it's very disrespectful. Them showing up to the Houston Texans Stadium, the home of the Houston Oilers, and wearing those jerseys. I think it's disrespectful they're wearing them in general, but against us, it's a target, and the Houston Texans have that game circled on their schedule and are ready to show the Titans what they've messed with. And the Houston Texans will get back to 500 and at 8-8, and then for the final game of the season, the Houston Texans will win on the road against the Indianapolis Colts and Anthony Richardson. I think this game will be a shootout between Anthony Richardson and C.J. Stroud. Both quarterbacks are going to be trying to show what they learned in their rookie seasons. I think Anthony Richardson and C.J. Stroud will go out and finish this season, playoffs or not. I don't think the Colts will make the playoffs, even though the Texans, if they win this game, they finish off 9-8. I don't think that will be good enough for the playoffs. I think Jacksonville will finish off with a record better than 9-8, so that is not good enough to win the NFC South. So in that case, you're not making the playoffs, so this is going to be it for C.J. Stroud. This is going to most likely be it for Anthony Richardson and the Colts. So both rookie quarterbacks are going to be trying to show what they learned in their rookie season and finish their rookie seasons off on a high note. If this is a shootout, the Texans could lose or win this game. I am going to say the Texans will win this game against the Colts, but I very well could think the Texans could lose this game. So I think the Texans are going to either go 9-8 or they're going to go 8-9. I think there are multiple games on this schedule that I could see the Texans losing that I have them winning in, and there are multiple games that I have them losing that I can see them winning. I'm going to go over a couple. I have the Texans losing Week 6 against the Saints. I could very well see them winning that ball game. Any other games? I have them losing in Tennessee. I could see them winning against the tight ends. Anybody else that really? It's really the Saints and the Titans and the Browns as well. I have them losing against Cleveland. The Browns, I don't think they'll win, but that is a game the Texans could sneak and get a huge upset. Some wins I think that I have them winning that they definitely could lose. The Broncos on the 3rd of December, that's definitely a potential loss. A couple other, the Panthers, that's one I have them winning that I think they could definitely lose. And there's a couple others, but you guys let me know your thoughts on this Houston Texans team. Give me your prediction for this roster. I think the Houston Texans will win in the area of 7 to 9 games. I don't see them losing less than 7. I don't see them winning less than 7. I think they win 7. I think the minimum is 7. I think the high is 10. I don't think the Texans will get there, but I think your goal is 10 wins. You're not going to get there, but I think the Texans are going to win 8 or 9 wins in this 2023 season. Maybe get 7. But yeah, you guys remember your thoughts on this Houston Texans team. Give me your predictions for this team, and peace out. Go Texans.